lovely people! I really suck at uploading. Summer turned out to be a bit more hectic than I was expecting. And I still have a lot of footage from this summer that I still need to edit together, and I just haven't yet. But it is coming! I know I never keep my promises, but I will make that into a video, or several videos, at some point. But I figured since now it was October, I should probably get on to making some more festively themed videos. Now the title of this video may seem a little over-exaggerated, but you don't know what I've been through. So I worked about 5 events this summer, all of which were security detail type things. Most of them were fairs, but I did work the Olympic trials, which was really cool, and I do have footage of that, and I will make that into a video at some point in the future. But the last event I worked was a little thing called Oktoberfest. Sadly, not the one that's actually in Germany, although that would have been really cool. Even though it wasn't in Germany, this event was still pretty far away from me, so I had to stay in a hotel. I stayed in about 4 hotels this summer, and let me just say, the first one I stayed in was the best one that I stayed in, because it just kept going downhill from there. And so the final event of the summer, being Oktoberfest, was the absolute worst hotel I have ever stayed in. Lots of hotels are sketchy to begin with, but this one was beyond terrifying. I was half expecting the Countess to just come by and start slitting everybody's throats. Too far? Yeah, too far. But let me go into a little bit of detail. This hotel, although I guess I should probably call it more of a motel, at least that's how it was set up. The first 2 hotels I stayed in could actually probably be called hotels because all of the doorways to your rooms were inside an actual hallway. You'd have to go outside to get to your room. The last 2 I stayed in were probably more like motels. I don't really know how to tell the difference between them. It just wasn't as nice as a hotel. This one was set up more like an apartment complex where all the doors to your rooms were outside. And let me just say that these kind of places freak me out, even if they aren't horrifying like this one was. So to begin with, every room had some kind of different problem. The one I was staying in had a bunch of flies in it the entire time, and they would never go away. In fact, I'm pretty sure they were multiplying. And I'm not talking fruit flies, I'm talking those big fat house flies. That was disgusting. Another room had this really obnoxious smell, and another one of my coworkers said that his room was literally falling apart, like the walls were crumbling in. Let me just also say that maid service is non-existent there. There were cobwebs everywhere, and there was trash under everybody's beds. One of my friends had literal clothes from previous people underneath his bed, as well as bags of pop cans. I guess somebody wanted their deposit or something. But it was obvious that people were living in this hotel. The first day of working, I basically just went straight to the event. I hadn't seen my room yet. I didn't know who my roommate was. I hadn't seen the hotel yet, so I didn't really know what I was in for. So I didn't get to see the hotel until pretty late at night. I think it was past 10 or 11. One of my coworkers and a very dear and interesting friend decided that she was going to try and break me with alcohol, which normally I would be down for, because being 21 is great. So my friend makes this ungodly concoction. So she basically took this green Kool-Aid, I don't even remember what flavor it was just a bright, toxic green. And she had an electric tea kettle type thing, which I kind of understand if you're going to use because it helps dissolve the Kool-Aid powder better. Anyway, after she made the warm, toxic sludge Kool-Aid, she added, I think, 1 shot of tequila and 1 shot of vodka. And that actually tasted really good despite it being warm and disgusting. But apparently, that wasn't enough, and she just started pouring more into it. And the second that drink hit my tongue, it tasted like pure fire, and I was burning from the inside. I normally have a pretty high tolerance for alcohol, but this stuff was nasty. But you know, after a few swigs, I finally got used to it, and I ended up drinking about half the bottle despite having to work the next morning. So like I said before, this is the first night that I'm in this place, and everyone else kind of passes out around 4 AM, and I'm the only one left awake on my computer. Around 4:30, I decided to finally wake my coworker up because she's in the wrong room, and I figured she'd probably want to sleep in her own bed, even though she'd passed out on me. So I wake her up and tell her she's to go to her own room, and she's like, yeah, okay. starts stumbling everywhere because she drank even more than I had. I asked her if she could make it back to her room on her own, which was literally right next door, but she was stumbling so much that I didn't think that she could. I opened the door out to outside of our room, and there's this woman standing there, just staring at us. And she's this tiny little thing, even shorter than me, which is saying something because I'm only 5'2". Shut up. But she was just standing right outside our door, literally with just a jacket on and really short shorts and a cigarette. And she had really crazy hair, and this woman never blinked. So immediately my friend starts stumbling in the wrong direction, past this lady, when she was supposed to go the other way. She almost starts knocking on some random person's door at 4:30 in the morning, when I quickly had to turn her around and make her go the other way. And this lady was staring at us the whole time, which I kind of understood because, I mean, wouldn't you stare if you just saw some stumbling drunk person at 4 in the morning? I asked her if she has her card key. She says, of course I do! She didn't. She took the now empty water bottle that used to contain the toxic sludge and started banging it on the door where the key card would go. So I asked her, you don't have your card key, do you? She says, nah, but I got this. She starts banging on the door so that her roommate will open it for her. At 4:30 in the morning! I'm sure the entire complex heard her. A few seconds later, a very grumpy roommate opens the door, and I shove my coworker inside, and I say, take care of her, before the door is closed in my face. The second I turn around, this tiny little woman is right there, right up in my personal space, and just staring at me. So I ask her, can I help you?
I heard what you said.
What?
You said take care of her.
Well, yeah, she's kind of drunk, so she needed a little bit of help. Again, just complete awkward silence after that, and she's just still staring at me. So then I ask, are you okay?
No. I'm lonely.
Oh no, I am too tired to deal with this right now.
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't help you right now. I have to get back to bed because I have a long day tomorrow.
Do you live around here?
Well, my room's over there, but I don't live here. I'm just here for work.
Oh, okay, work. What kind of work does she think I do? Once again, just awkward silence with her, just standing in my personal space, and here I am trying to, like, cautiously inch away along the wall, you know? So I ask again, are you gonna be okay?
No. I'm cold.
So I ask her if she has a room here, and she says,
I think so, but I don't remember the number. It could have been...
And then she started listing off a bunch of random numbers, to which I'm like, I can't help you with this! So I tell her,
well, I can't help you with something like this, so what you need to do is go downstairs to the reception office and tell them your name, and they can tell you which room you're in. And they'll be open till 7 a.m. 7 a.m.?
7 a.m.
Okay.
She starts walking downstairs, and as soon as she's out of eyesight, I bolt to my room and then latch the door shut, which is one of the few godsends this hotel had. So that entire encounter was just the first night. And I was there for about 4 days. Now, by the second day, a coworker of mine had realized we'd had the same schedule, so we decided to just carpool back and forth between the event and the hotel each day. So on the second night, we're driving into the hotel parking lot, and once again, it's pretty late because our shifts go to like 10 or 11. And the minute we start pulling in, the woman is standing right at the entrance and watching us the entire time. And I told my friend, don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact, whatever you do, do not make eye contact! And of course he went and made eye contact with her. So, hesitantly, we get out of the car and try and just walk past her as fast as we can without looking at her. Then of course she starts talking to us.
You got a message?
And she just kept saying something about a message. I don't even remember exactly what it was. She just said, did you get a message? There's a message for you, kind of a thing. To which, again, I was too tired to deal with at this point, because I had a long day of dealing with drunk people, which is great! So I tell her,
Oh, okay, we'll just deal with that in the morning.
and we quickly try and walk around her to get to the elevator. So we get into the elevator, but we can hear her coming, still talking about some sort of message. We're frantically pushing the door close button. Press it, press it, press it, press it, press it! So once it finally does start closing, we see her rounding the corner and getting closer and closer, and I'm like, please don't let her get on the elevator, please don't let her get on the elevator. Right when there's about this much gap left in the door, all we see is her face right there before it closes. I was half expecting her to stick her hand inside and stop it and try to get on, for God knows what reason, but my friend and I were both just like hyperventilating in the back of the elevator. And then as soon as we got to our floor, we quickly ran to my room so that we could hide out for a bit. Night 3 was pretty uneventful. But then on the 4th day, when we actually had to leave the hotel before 11, because all hotels have that stupid rule, as we were finally driving out of the parking lot, away from that terrible, horrifying place, I saw her again just walking around on the bottom floor. But luckily that was the last I saw of her. So it turns out that all of my coworkers that stay in this hotel had some sort of experience with this creepy lady. My roommate and a couple other of my coworkers, who are big guys, had a similar experience with the elevator, except she actually managed to get on this time. Like I said, these guys are kind of big looking tough guys, and they were as far away from her as they could possibly get because they were afraid of this tiny little woman. And then they started complaining about how much their feet hurt or whatever, because working security, you have to basically just stand all day and you rarely get to sit, which sucks, but I still prefer it over retail. So they're complaining about how much pain they're in, and this woman says,
You know what's a good way to deal with pain? Meth.
As soon as my coworker told me that, I was like, called it! And later we found out that this woman was actually homeless, which I feel kind of bad about. But apparently she basically just hangs out around there all the time, and the hotel has even stopped calling the cops on her because she just keeps coming back, and they were just sick of annoying the police all the time. So that's my hotel horror story. And honestly, it probably wasn't as bad as a lot of other people's hotel-motel experiences. But have you ever had any creepy experiences with hotels? I would really love to hear about them because honestly, they make some of the best stories. So if you do have any, feel free to comment about it down below. And I do have plans to get other videos up this month because it is my favorite month of the year. But in order to do one of them, I need some help from you guys. So I've been wanting to do a Q&A type video for a while now, but I haven't gotten any questions at all. So if you really want to ask me or my very secret special guest something, feel free to also comment with that down below, or you can also message me on my Tumblr or Twitter, which I will also link in the description. Like I said, I haven't gotten any questions yet, and I really want to do this kind of a video, so I would really appreciate the help. But that's it for this video, so I hope you guys have a spooky week, and I will see you next time. Bye. The weather outside is really rainy and depressing, and it's my favorite kind of weather. But as I was thinking about the other day, I realized that I've never really explained to you guys what all this is. So here it is, the video that nobody asked for, explaining the mess that's behind me.